Let me show an integral part of WinDBG, which is how to control exceptions. So, whilst debugging, there might be exceptions and events that is useful to be observed. WinDBG has several options to view and control exceptions and events. Let me go over just a few and show how they can be used in debugging. Let me switch over to WinDBG, which is attached to a program. The program is not important. All it does is generate exceptions when I click these buttons. Let's start with WinDBG. Let's just break in. To view the exception list, we just run sx. The command sx lists down all the exceptions with a little description and a status. The text on the left over here is the exception code. The exception code is used in WinDBG for controlling the exception. The text in the middle is a brief description of the exception, and the text on the right is the status. The meaning of the status is that if the status is ignored, like this, then WinDBG will ignore this particular exception. If the status is break, it means that WinDBG is going to break in. It's akin to setting a breakpoint. Handle means that WinDBG will handle that exception. Not handle means that WinDBG will not handle that exception. And finally, output means that WinDBG will just write a line of output and not actually try to handle that exception. The status is what we will change to get WinDBG to handle exceptions. There are various commands we can use to change the status. The first command is to set it to notify. So if I run sxnav, AV means access violation. What will happen is that, now let me just run sx again to show it. We will set to output. Notify and output is the same thing. So now, if we trigger an access violation, let me just go ahead and do that. We will just get a line of output over here. There we are, access violation. To ignore an exception, we just run sxiav. This just ignores access violations entirely. Let's just run that and see that there is no difference in the in WinDBG. Enabling the exception sxeav like that just means that we are going to put a breakpoint so that when this exception occurs, we will actually break into WinDBG. There, like that. Finally, we can reset all the status with xxr, which basically just sets it all back to default. So if we run sx, we can see that all the status is just set back to default. One of the very interesting things about the exceptions is that you can actually enable an exception as sxeav, and you can put -c in the middle. That means run a command. In this case, I'm running k1 and it's going to be a semicolon and a g. This means output one line of stack and continue. Let's give that a try. So I run sxeav with my command. Then I'm going to run the application, and if I hit a null reference exception, we see that within WinDBG we get one line of stack and we get a continue. This is very handy, especially for exceptions that can be very frequent. One of my favorites is to print out the .NET exception whenever there is a CLR exception. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me just break in. So what we do is sxe to enable the CLR exception, and then we run the command peg. PE means print exception, print.NET exception. So let's go ahead and run that. So I'm going to click out of memory, which is a .NET exception. And there we are, we get the actual .NET exception and we get a G to continue. We can actually extend this with a lot more commands. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to add sxe CLR. I'm gonna do print exception, 5 lines of stack, and G. The mk command is part of the plugin SOSEX. All it does is list out the managed stack. So let's go ahead and run this, and we will get a more detailed exception list. There we are, the stack is downloading the symbols and it will display shortly. There we are. 5 lines of stack. I use this quite often, especially with .NET debugging. Let me just reset the exception list. Now, some of the exceptions have subcommands. For example, it is possible to turn on the exception for LD only when the library CLR is loaded. LD is the exception for the loader. It's over here, load module. So when we put the subcommands over here, we can actually specify when we want LD to trigger. Now, I've already loaded the SOS plugin, so I don't really need to go through and run with LD. But if you are using an older version of WinDebug that does not automatically load the SOS plugin, you can use the LD to trap the loading, and when CLR loads, you can script it to load the SOS plugin. There are other exceptions like VCPP, which is the Visual C++ exception handling, VS, which is the verifier stop, and a few other really important and interesting exceptions that you can use. I will put a link in the description below to the Microsoft documentation for most of the exceptions. Some of them are really simple, like integer divide. Some of them are a bit more complex, which you probably will never see. And if you don't have like a really serious exception or a really serious system related issue, you'll probably never see a lot of these exceptions. Finally, if there is an exception that is not listed in this list, it is possible to just use the code of the exception like that and just run SXE with the code. This also works to trap the exception. Now, there is an actual menu in which you can configure the exceptions over here by clicking on the settings. Let me just adjust the capture software to get the settings. There we are. I don't really use this menu because I think it's a bit cumbersome trying to configure using this menu. I find it much easier just to type into WinDebug, especially if you need to run a command. It looks like it's much easier just to type into WinDebug rather than use this menu over here. Anyway, there are quite a lot of exceptions that can be controlled by WinDebug. The capability of running a command is something I use very often, and very frequently I will script the exceptions to actually do something, especially in the situation where there is a lot of exceptions which are flowing. I'm quite surprised that the menu for exceptions is so obscure. You have to go outside into the files, into the settings, and then you get the menu. If it was just a drop down within the main view of WinDebug, it would have been easier to use. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you have actually used exceptions and event handling in WinDebug. Gentle reminder to subscribe, hit that bell icon and give a like if you like the content. As always, it's been a pleasure bringing you this information. I am High Voice, signing out.